Hello. Oh, hi, Sarah. Yeah, I just got back from the world up above. Just in time, too, for the children's corner.
When I'm sitting around with my homework all done and there's nothing to do, I call all of my friends, they don't answer the phone. Where have they gone to? Where do you go?
Howdy there, and welcome to the town of the Children's Corner, located in the world of the Magical Couch. I'm right in the middle of my rounds. A lot of locusts out here today. It's a nice spring day. I am Sheriff Stephen J.
Sheriff!
Oh yes, what can I do for you?
I have a complaint.
What seems to be the problem?
That guy over there has a bunch of garbage next to his house.
That sounds like a health issue. Which house is it?
It's over there.
Can you show me?
Yeah.
All right. Wow, you weren't kidding. What a mess. But that's not garbage. That's trash.
Trash, garbage, still the same thing.
No, actually, it's not. Trash is something that's been discarded, like these paint cans. And garbage is an organic food product, something that's spoiled or gone bad. You know, kind of like maybe a banana peel or, the core of an apple that's been thrown away. That's garbage.
Can't you do something about it?
Well, of course they can. And we have laws that prevent people from doing this type of thing, or they're supposed to prevent people from doing this type of thing. Do you think he's home?
Yeah, I think he's down in his basement.
All right. Well, I'll go check it out, and I want to thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Thank you.
Oh, welcome. Thank you very much. Cute kid. Hello? Anybody home? Hello? Sheriff Stephen J. That's me. Oh. Hello. Holy cow! What a mess! Hello?
Who is it?
It's the sheriff.
Sheriff, you startled me. I usually don't have visitors down here in my basement.
Didn't mean to startle you. Hold it right there. I need to talk to you. Yeah, I have a complaint. Apparently you've accumulated quite a few paint cans next to your house upstairs, and people don't like it. It's against the Sauge County ordinance, and I'm going to have to issue you a summons if you don't clean it up.
Summons? That's my livelihood.
You need livelihood. It's nothing but empty paint cans with dried up paint.
I use it down here and turn it into works of art.
Like what? You talking about that right there?
There's one,
And that?
two, even stuff like this.
Wow. That looks pretty good. How'd you do that?
I can show you.
Really? Oh, okay, go ahead. Show me.
All right. Well, I've already opened some paint here. And we'll see what we can do with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't know where I should stand here. I don't want to get it. I think I'm going to stand back here.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get too crazy with it, but this is how I usually start. It's basically just playing and let the paint do most of the work. Let's see what might come of it. Not sure I want that there. It's a lot harder than it looks. Not sure if that's true or not.
Wow. Not bad. So what happens? You let that dry, or?
I'll look at it. If I like it, keep playing with it, add more paint to it. I'm never really done. There's a certain point where I may say I've had enough, and I think it's where it needs, or
Well, that's amazing. Wow. Now you say this is your livelihood?
yes, it is, and a hobby that I enjoy and love doing.
So it's a hobby, so I can write you a summons.
For what?
For the mess you have upstairs.
That's all material that I'm going to repurpose and use for artwork in the future, like this.
Well, what about the paint cans and the paint can lids?
I'd be happy to tidy it all up for you, but I use everything. I use the cans, I use the lids, I use the paint. Depending on what type of art I'm creating, I make sculpture, I make paintings.
Show me something with paint cans and paint can lids, because that's kind of hard to believe. Do you have anything that you've done with those that I can actually see?
Yes.
Well, show them to me.
All right, I'll have to go upstairs for that.
All right, well, go fetch them and,
Bring them down?
yep, bring them
All right.
down.
Hold on, not quite done yet.
You are quite the artist, huh? Oh, you had to get that one spot in.
Makes all the difference, maybe. Here's a piece.
So that's it. I can see you use the small paint can lids for this piece.
Yep, I use it all. I use the paint, the cans, the lids. With this piece you can see the cans are embedded in paint on a board and framed. And hopefully someday on a wall. So none of it goes unused. I try to reclaim and repurpose everything. You know, I store them on the side of the house, and then when I'm ready, I'll bring them down here, pop some lids, and have some fun. There's no part of the paint that I don't use.
So now, this is just lids of small paint cans. So you actually use large lids as well?
I use gallons, pints, quarts, any old paint. I try to find a use for it. Varnishes.
What about the regular paint cans that they came from? Do you actually put those on a piece?
Yeah, I've made a table, I've made a bench out of the paint cans. Someday I'll make a sculpture.
Well, it's pretty good. I guess you do use it. And do you actually sell this?
Yes. That's why I'm saving all of those out there. As you can see here, in this particular piece, after I pop the lids on the cans and play with the paint, it kind of has a life of its own. I think the paint is excited to be freed from the can, and as you can see, it's all having fun.
Well, I can see it's changed a little bit. You got some speckles there that weren't there before.
That's the mixtures of old paint, new paint, enamels, acrylics, varnishes, shellacs. The paint separates. I think that gives it added beauty.
Well, you know, I guess you are an artist of sorts. Well, it sounds like you are repurposing, and you know, in the words of Tom Zart, the poet, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Indeed.
And you sell these.
Yes. Try it.
That's the treasure part.
Yep.
And everything's fine. I won't write you a summons, and I'll try to explain to the neighborhood that you are an artist, and you're repurposing these cans and these lids and the old paint inside them to make this art. And as far as that mess you have up there next to the house, I'm sorry, the art pieces that are next to your house, could you take those and just arrange them a little neater so people wouldn't complain? And I'll let the neighborhood know what's going on. I'm sure they'll be happy with it.
I'd be happy to do that.
All right. Well, very interesting and peculiar. But it's artwork. The name is
Eric.
Eric. Great to meet you, Eric.
Nice to meet you, Sheriff.
Hey, all right. So I have to do my rounds, and so I will. I'll see you later, maybe.
All right.
Maybe I'll see some of that other artwork sometime.
All right.
Did you see that? That's amazing what he's doing with discarded paint and old paint cans and lids and turning it into art. I've never seen so much junk in my life. I probably never will. I take that back. What is happening here? Come on. We need to investigate. This here is the blacksmith and welding business of our local blacksmith and welder, John Smith. And John knows that we do not allow the businesses to put clutter in front of their business. So let's go inside, see what's going on. Hey, John? John? Oh, somebody out back. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, I'm looking for John Smith.
John Smith doesn't own this place anymore.
Oh, and you are?
I'm Norman Tinker.
Hello, Mr. Tinker. It's a
And
pleasure
I-
to meet you. I'm Sheriff Stephen J.
Okay.
Hope I didn't get any paint on you there.
No. No.
All right.
A
So,
little dirt never hurt me anyway.
So, do you own this place now?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's very interesting, Mr. Tinker. You know, there's a history of that name, last name Tinker, and this is a welding shop. And the history is, it goes all the way back to the 1200s, that the Tinkers were peddlers. And they would walk through the streets with their pots and pans, and they'd tink on them, and they called them Tinkers. And people would know they're in town, and they'd come out and they'd buy their wares. And they sold other things as well. But they also mended pots and pans,
That's
henceforth welding. And here you are, Norman Tinker, and it looks like you're welding since you did buy a welding shop.
Boy, you've got the whole history down.
I got it down.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I know all about
Yeah.
the Tinkers. And Norman Tinker, I like that.
That's my name.
And I can see it's kind of interesting because it looks like you've been tinkering around and welding stuff as well.
A lot of people think that I just tinker.
What is all this stuff?
Well, this is sculpture. This is sculpture made from found metal.
So you just find the stuff or get the stuff?
I find it at dumps. People bring me cast off stuff that they're throwing away and ask me if I can use it. If I can use it, I do.
So it's all junk that you're making sculptures out of, unique looking sculptures, I might add. And what's this one in front? It's in a row. A bunch of them are like in a row.
Those are pieces that represent the Tinkerville trolley.
Really?
Yeah.
So where'd you get that idea for the
Well,
Tinkerville trolley?
That came from when I was a little boy, and I used to look at the newspaper comic strips, and there was one in there that had this trolley called the Tunerville trolley,
Wow.
and all the characters in the comic strip would ride on this trolley. And I don't remember the characters, but I remember the trolley. And so I started making these pieces with wheels on, and they made me think of the Tunerville trolley. So I put them in a row and said, okay, this is the Tinkerville trolley.
After you make these sculptures, so you're getting scrap metal, basically junk, and you're just welding it all together, using your imagination to make some type of a sculpture, what do you do with it when you're done?
Well, sometimes I show it in galleries.
Really?
Not often, but I have had some shows. And the rest of the time it sits here for people's enjoyment and for my enjoyment.
You're selling these, I assume? You are in business?
Occasionally.
Well, you know, I was walking by, I've never seen this stuff in front before. I'm like, where did that come from? And we don't have things in front of the shop, you know,
Right.
but since they are your wares and you're displaying them, that's fine. Are there any favorites that you haven't sold that you have here?
I have different favorites at different times.
Or any
And
right now?
there are some that stay my favorites all the time.
So I notice you have some interesting pieces over here. Can we go take a look at them?
Certainly.
All right, after you.
Okay.
Hey, watch your step on that.
Yeah,
You should use that on a piece.
I will.
So is this one of your favorites here?
Yes, it is.
What do you call it?
I call it Seated Lady.
Seated lady. Okay. Why do you call it that?
It makes me think of a seated figure.
A seated figure. All right, well, that makes sense. So, nice. Well, you have anything else? That's a favorite out
Sure.
here. I have time for one more.
Okay, well, let me show you something over here.
All right. Ah, all right, so what do you call this piece?
It's a robot.
Robot. Very unique. I got a shovel here. I guess that's a hand.
Yeah.
Oh, got a little color down here too, I see.
Well, that's an appendage that I thought would work, and I stuck it on there this morning.
Added that just this morning. It looks
Just
kind
this
of,
morning.
you know, it looks kind of familiar to me.
Well, I thought
I can't quite place it.
I'm so happy to see you, Sheriff. I was walking on over to your house, and this man picked me up and put me on this thing. Oh, and now I can't get off it. Could you help me out here? I'm stuck.
All these sculptures, how long have you been doing this?
About 18 years.
And did you just start picking it up, or I know you've been a welder. I mean, did you go to school? Do you have any? Tell me a little bit about
Well,
yourself.
I was in the woods and I discovered a mangled old gasoline tank from a pickup truck or something. And I picked that up and threw it in my car and I brought it home. But on the way home, I saw a garage that had burned down and there was a whole bunch of overhead door track that had gotten all twisted and burned. And I threw that in the car and I brought that home. And I started playing with it and found that it went together in a beautiful way that suggested a running figure. And I made that and found that was what I really wanted to do. I was an artist when I was in grade school and high school, and then I went to art school. I got a master's degree in sculpture. I started welding when I was an art student. I taught sculpture and drawing for a long time. And then I got out of teaching and went into business as a welder and ornamental iron worker. So after I retired from my welding and ornamental ironworking business, I started making these.
So after you retired, you started sculpting all this, or welding all this together, and creating this out of discarded metal, junk stuff people have got rid of, and you basically repurposed that junk to make this sculpture. Very interesting. Very interesting. And it's a great meeting. You're the second person that's artistically inclined that I've met today. Oh, I'm Sheriff Stephen J. I don't even know if I introduced myself. I'm the sheriff of the town. I'd like to welcome you to the community of the Children's Corner.
Why, thank you.
It's been my pleasure. I got to finish my
My
round.
pleasure too.
Perhaps I'll see you sometime in the future walking around here. All right.
Good.
Take care. I'm going to look around and see some more of your stuff.
Okay.
Take care now.
Sheriff, where you going, Sheriff? I'm over here. Hello, I'm over here. Where? Oh, get back. Oh, help. Oh. Nobody helps me. I'm so hungry.
Wow, this has been one interesting and educational day. First, we met Eric, who had all those used paint cans and old paint and paint lids on the side of his house, all that junk and trash, only to find out he takes it down into his basement and makes art out of it. And then, of course, we met Norman Tinker. And Norman, he bought the blacksmith welding shop. He welds. And he had all this discarded metal all over the front of his place. But then we find out that he takes that old discarded metal and he repurposes that into sculpture, another form of artwork. Now my rounds are all finished and I'm done for the day. But I've come to one house because I'd like to introduce you to one of our residents. He's been here for a while. His name is Wesley Reddick. And Wesley is a woodworker by trade. And he does the same thing with discarded wood as Norman does with metal and Eric does with paint. He takes the old discarded wood and he repurposes that into useful objects and into art. So I thought I'd stop by his house and introduce him to you. He's right over here. Hey, Wes, how you doing?
Oh, hello, Steve. I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
Good to see you.
I thought I'd have the folks come over here and meet you.
All right.
Folks, this is Wesley Reddick.
I don't see anybody.
They're right there. Never mind.
Okay.
What is this contraption you
Well,
have here?
This is a mechanical sculpture that I'm calling a flickoscope.
A flickoscope.
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you make it out of?
It's made from discarded materials like this old magnifying glass, a water pipe, some gears, and old wood that I've reshaped and repurposed into this thing that you crank and it projects an image through the magnifying glass onto this screen, and when you crank it, it makes whatever you're looking at flicker.
Well, show me. Point that way. Let's see.
Take a look at that.
Wow, that is pretty amazing. What else have you been working on?
Oh, well, I've been doing some woodworking with reclaimed lumber and old things. I've made a cabinet and a guitar and a sculpture.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, you mind if the folks and I can go take a look?
sure, but what folks are you talking about?
Those folks right there.
I don't see any folks, Steve.
Well, whatever. Okay, well, can we go see what you
Sure,
created?
come on in. I'll
All right,
show
great.
you. Come on in.
Thank you.
Watch your step here.
Hey. It's dark down here.
Yeah, it's a little dim in this corner of the barn.
So, what do you got for us?
Yeah, well, I have a few things here. One is this mirror. This mirror is made from wood and some other things. Old barn board came from this barn. It was on the outside of the barn, and I decided, well, that's a pretty good looking piece of wood. I think I want to make something out of it. So we used that plus an old saw blade that I found out in the dirt, and you can see that that is almost completely rusted away. And then there's a piece of a chair. The back of a chair, actually, that the chair is gone, but that piece remained, and someone had thrown that out, and I found it and said, well, I think I'll put all these things together and come up with a mirror. So there it is.
So today's word of interest is going to be
Repurpose.
repurpose. R-E-P-U-R-P-O-S-E. Repurpose. Meaning to take an item and turn it into another item, a useful item that it wasn't originally intended for. Now in this case, he took a saw blade, which was intended for cutting, and he made it a decorative piece on this mirror. So he repurposed it. And what else you got there, Wes?
Well, I have this cabinet here. This cabinet is made from repurposed wood also. The original purpose of that wood was to sheathe the exterior of a barn, but I've used it to make a cabinet. This also has an old cabinet door that someone had thrown away, and I found and decided that's still a usable cabinet door. I think I'll use that. So I made a cabinet from it. A while ago I made a guitar.
Oh.
This guitar is made out of a chunk of a beam from a mill building, and the guitar neck was a real guitar neck that someone had thrown away because the guitar itself had been broken. But I found it and just realized that the neck can be removed. I removed the neck from that broken guitar and added it to this old beam, put some strings on it, and now we have a guitar. This is a sculpture. I have this here. This is made from a 100-year-old beam. It's a piece of southern yellow pine and some very old nails. These nails are about 150 years old. In the old days, they made nails square because they were cut from a sheet of metal.
Right.
So they're called square cut nails. And this sculpture is called a cappella because I think it looks like it's yodeling.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Wesley Reddick, repurposing old discarded wood and metal into works of art and objects that you can use today, like the cabinet and the mirror. Before I started my rounds today, Pinky Lonahan came by and he wanted to talk to me and spend some time with me, but I had to do my rounds. So he was nice enough to make me a peanut butter sandwich. And a little trick I learned from Alphabet Chef Royce. Here we go. I love peanut butter sandwiches. Milk. Water. You got milk? Got water?
You might have some.
Here. We'll see you next time on the Children's Corner. Where do you go?
We're gonna go to the children's corner.
Where do you go?
We're gonna go to the children's corner.
Tell me, where do you go?
We're gonna go to the children's corner.
Where do you go?
We're gonna go to the children's corner.
Just where do you go?